I do need to pivot because there was some big news in the NFL on Thursday. Our long national nightmare, mercifully, is over. Aaron Rodgers is flying to Pittsburgh today to sign a contract and play for the Pittsburgh Steelers next year. Whew. It's over. I mean, we had to deal with, 4 months of reporters saying, this is the week. Aaron Rodgers is probably... No, not this week. It's next week. I mean, guys just whiffing all over the place because nobody knows what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. But you got to be honest, guys. If you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you have to be thrilled, absolutely geeked, that Aaron Rodgers waited until the very last moment possible before mandatory appearances were required to sign in Pittsburgh. Usually your quarterback, he's showing up in a new city, showing up with a new offensive coordinator, new wide receiver, new running. Yeah, a lot of newness. He wants to get in the building early. Got to hit the ground running. Got to meet my guys. I'm here. First in, last out. Aaron Rodgers is letting you know right out of the gate. I'm calling the shots. You guys obviously remember that great Tom Cruise movie with the Somali pirates, and the guy goes, I'm the captain now. Tom Hanks. I'm sorry, Tom Hanks. This was Aaron Rodgers essentially saying, hey, this is my show. Mike Tomlin, you're a great coach. Arthur Smith, I don't know how I'm going to deal with you, but I'm running the show. Aaron Rodgers said, I'm signing now. Here I am. And folks, I don't know how this is going to go. We got a lot of newness in Pittsburgh, and our staff put together a little chart. So Najee Harris, he gone. Their number one running back. Number one wide receiver, Pickens. He just got shipped. Tight end is the same. Their number two wide receiver, he's also new. Their left tackle, Broderick Jones, he was not the full-time starter last year. Look at all this newness in Pittsburgh. If you guys are looking for a team that's going to be potentially rocky, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are the one. Now, we remember Brett Favre when he left Green Bay. He had a pit stop in New York. It went great for half a season, and then, he gadzooks, it totally nuked. Then he left for Minnesota, found his groove again. I mean, I think he was nearly the MVP of the league, and they lose in the conference championship game, that fateful interception over the middle. One wonders. Aaron Rodgers leaves Green Bay, pit stop in New York. Not great. Will he find the fountain of youth in Pittsburgh? I'm here to tell you that's not happening. And all these Aaron Rodgers, Favre comparisons, I think we're going to have to put them in the rearview mirror. Yes, Rodgers, incredible career. There was a time when he won the 2 MVPs in Green Bay, I was like, oh, he's a top 5 quarterback all time. He doesn't have the Super Bowls, but man, the arm strength, the stats, the lack of interception. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is great. And then in New York, you're like, hurt, not awesome. Final year in Green Bay. And Mike Tomlin has this long, amazing track record of never have a losing record. I have it as 18 seasons without a losing record for Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. That's the most consecutive non-losing seasons, only behind Bill Belichick, as you can see on the screen, with 19, and Tom Landry, the great Cowboys coach, with 21. Here's the thing with Tomlin. I think this is going to be the year they don't hit 500. And that's tough because it's going to reflect poorly on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, remember, Tomlin has stayed 500 or better with a poo-poo platter of quarterbacks since Ben Roethlisberger retired. I'm talking, some jokers out there, okay? And I'm not really feeling this Rodgers vibe. We already have seen reports. Hey, man, Arthur Smith's personality. Aaron Rodgers. They're going to be butting heads out of the gate, okay? Aaron, when he went to New York, they just gave him everything he wanted. Oh, you want Randall Cobb? You want Alan Lazard? Come on down. You want Nathaniel Hackett? Oh, yeah, let's do it. Steelers ain't doing that. So Rodgers is now not going into a comfortable setting. Newness all over the place. I'm very reluctant that the Steelers are a 500 team. This signing by Rodgers, win total didn't move. It was probably baked in that he was going to sign there. But the opener against my Jets is interesting because it pits Justin Fields against Aaron Rodgers. Justin Fields was in Pittsburgh last year. Rodgers was at the Jets. The line did bump up to Steelers -3 in New York. I'm going to be headed to Vegas this weekend, and I would love to bet the Jets. I'm not going to unload the bank account, but I'm just telling you right now, that Jets pass rush, You don't think those Jets are going to be motivated to go after Rodgers the way that tenure went in New York? Folks, it's not going to be pretty for Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. I mean, I asked the staff, rank the quarterbacks in the division. I mean, he ain't better than Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow, that's for sure. So at best, you've got the third best quarterback. Pro Football Focus had Pittsburgh 21st best roster in the league. That's not great. I don't know. This smells to me like 7-10. Pittsburgh and Aaron Rodgers feels like it's over. All right, let's bring in Mike DeFabo, Steelers beat writer for The Athletic, to talk. First of all, Mike, did you happen to watch the game last night, or were you just all about Aaron Rodgers and the big news that happened yesterday for the Steelers?
Well, it's kind of funny because I was watching the game and I was so tired by the end of it that I went to sleep right when it got interesting. So Pacers fans, maybe you don't want me watching the rest of the series.
Wow. Oh, man. It was a draining day. Tell me about it. So we've been hearing reports for, I don't know, 3-4 months that Rodgers was coming to the Steelers. And then it's like, no, maybe, nah, we'll see. And yesterday it all crescendoed. Tell me what your day was like with Rodgers.
Well, it makes perfect sense that it happened now because, believe it or not, I'm on vacation with my family. And so, of course, the most inconvenient time is when the biggest news will break. But it's good and it provides some finality because I don't think I can emphasize enough what it does to a fan base's psyche to go through the offseason not knowing who the quarterback is going to be. And this whole offseason began with, should the Steelers sign Russell Wilson or Justin Fields? Because the president of the team and the owner, Art Rooney, right after the year said he preferred one of those two candidates. And so it went from that discussion to just the indecision. And I think people now, even if they have their doubts about what Aaron Rodgers can do at 41 years old and coming off of the Achilles injury a couple years ago, they're happy just to have an answer and to finally stop talking about if he's going to be the quarterback and now start talking about what can he do as the Steelers quarterback.
Yeah. Well, Mike, first of all, major shout out for the vacation appearance. Can I ask if it's like a beach in the Caribbean, a lake house? How did the wife take it when you said, hey, I got to go talk Steelers and Rodgers on TV? Sorry.
Yeah, we're at Ocean Isle, and the only reason it's this week is because my little sister lives in London, and it's very difficult to find. There's 4 siblings in my family to get everybody together. Thankfully, my wife, believe it or not, is also in the business. She works for a local NBC affiliate and does a lot of broadcasting. So she's all about it and very supportive. But yeah, everyone's at the beach right now, and I'm chilling inside.
Yeah, of course.
Talking Steelers.
Well, get used to it, Mike. I mean, listen, Aaron Rodgers comes with baggage, nonsense. Like I'm a diehard Jets fan, and I had to deal with this crap the last 2 years. He loves to talk about a bunch of nonsense. I will just say this. The Jets gave him everything he wanted. You want the OC? You want wide receivers? You want this, that? Steelers have not really done that yet. I'm curious, your take, or do we see Rodgers start bringing in his guys?
Well, the one area that I think that they could add his guys is that wide receiver. Obviously, the Steelers this offseason went out and acquired DK Metcalf, a blockbuster type of move that really is a philosophical shift for a team that for the 4th consecutive year is going to lead the league in defensive spending. They went and they paid big money to a marquee wide receiver. But then a couple weeks later, months later, they turn around and trade George Pickens. And so last year, the season really came undone and went into a tailspin when George Pickens got hurt. And for basically the whole year, people were asking who's number 2. Then the question was, are any of these guys capable of stepping up and being number 1? So now that they have Aaron Rodgers, they know he's here. Alan Lazard would make sense. He's worked with him. He has that familiarity. You know, Kyle Pitts or another tight end like Jonnu Smith may make sense because within Arthur Smith's offense, they love that tight end position. Arthur Smith loves guys who played for him. So in some form or fashion, I think the Steelers will find a way to add a playmaker, whether that comes in the form of a wide receiver or a tight end remains to be seen. But I think there is a desire, if you're bringing in a veteran like Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers want to give him the best possible opportunity to surround him with playmakers to do everything they can to make a run this year. All
right, so Steelers lose Najee Harris in the offseason. Jalen Warren was there, but he wasn't the starter, okay? They lose Pickens, their starting wide receiver. They got a new number 2 receiver. Broderick Jones, I don't remember how many games he started left tackle, but there's a lot of newness, quarterback, receiver, running back. Should we expect some growing pains early for the Steelers?
Well, what they had done previously, I think this is going to be the biggest thing to iron out, is what's the identity of this offense? Because when they brought in Arthur Smith, he's one of the most run-heavy offensive coordinators in the league. And last year, the Steelers ran the ball 4th most. And now they bring in a quarterback who had the second most passing attempts. So what do you want to be? Are you old school ground and pound Steelers football, or are you a quick, precise passing game that would more so fit the identity of Aaron Rodgers? And I think finding the marriage between those two and integrating these new pieces is going to be key. And if I had to guess, I think they're going to lean a bit more towards the run game. They just also drafted Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, who fits Arthur Smith's scheme as a great outside zone runner. So, they're kind of doing what they did last year with Russell Wilson. It feels very similar, where they say, we have the highest paid defense. We think that they give us a certain floor. Now what we're looking for is, can this veteran take what's been an unstable position at quarterback and give us just something better than what we've got to push us over the edge? And really the hope is, can you win a playoff game for the first time in 8 years? Because that drought has been weighing on the fans, and they're very hungry for some postseason success.
So I'm not sure if the audience heard it the way I did. It sounds like we're shaping up as a potential tug of war between Rodgers and Smith. What's their identity going to be? And it kind of reminds me of when Brady went to Tampa. Remember him and the head coach Arians? They kind of had different views. Then after the bye week, they get on the same, I guess they played golf during the bye week or something happened like that. And boom, next thing you know, boom, Tom Brady, I guess, got his way, and they go on to win the Super Bowl. Rodgers is kind of older and set in his ways. I don't know. Is there an oil and water situation shaping up here?
Well, one thing that concerns me a bit is, at the end of last season, there was some friction between Arthur Smith and Russell Wilson based on how often Russell Wilson could change the play at the line of scrimmage. And that's the central piece of what Aaron Rodgers does. He has all these complex hand signals that he wants his guys to run, to learn, and he wants them to run very precise, detailed routes. And so I think that could be something that they really need to iron out. I think that may be one of the biggest early things they need to figure out is, how much freedom are we giving Aaron Rodgers? Are we going to say, you are a 4-time MVP, you are a Super Bowl champion, you go run the show, do your thing, Aaron, because that's why we brought you here? Or do they say, look, you're 41 years old, let's both acknowledge that you're not in your prime anymore. Can we run a more simple, more conservative type of offense? And really, that's been Mike Tomlin's calling card recently, is he's all about turnover battle. And through OTAs, numerous players said that he put stats up, he put clips up saying, this is how the Pittsburgh Steelers win football games. We don't turn the football over, and we take the football away. So are they going to go with that identity, or are they willing to be a bit more risk averse? Those are all the things that I think they need to figure out early in order to have success.
Let me ask you, Mike, is that a little antiquated? I mean, I thought offense wins in the modern era. Like, hey, let's be conservative and not turn the ball over and win with defense. Like, I mean, how many years without a playoff win do you have to go before thinking, yeah, this ain't working?
Well, that's been a frustration of the fan base, no doubt, is there have been times where the offense, really before Arthur Smith especially, was more, we're going to play not to lose rather than we're going to play to win. And there's been repeated frustrations about the Steelers not throwing the ball over the middle of the field, for example. The Steelers, again, running the football fourth most in the league last year. So I think that Aaron will at least bring a little bit of the over the middle stuff, because he wasn't, I think it was 6.6 air yards per attempt last year, which is pretty low. But he does throw the ball over the middle, and that would fit DK Metcalf in terms of those slants and in-breaking routes and things of that nature. So, there is going to have to be a discussion here, and they're going to have to figure out what is this offense going to be? Because truth be told, the offense has been holding back a defense that's been near championship caliber for years. Ooh. This defense was completed in 2019 when they traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick, and it came together just in time to give an aging Ben Roethlisberger one last chance to make a run and do something. Now that defense is risking aging out before accomplishing anything of its own. Cam Hayward's getting older. He's been healthy and in uniform for one playoff win. TJ Watt's in line for his third contract, never won a playoff game. Wow. Minkah Fitzpatrick, he's in his late 20s, never won a playoff game. So that is something that very much motivates Mike Tomlin. He wants to get Cameron Hayward that gold jacket, and he wants to get him that Lombardi trophy. And really, I think that's a big reason why they brought in a veteran, because they felt that gave them the best opportunity to capitalize on this current window with this defense.
Yeah, Steelers fans hated me last summer when I said, if I'm Pittsburgh, I don't think Russ or Fields is getting you anywhere near the Super Bowl. I would trade TJ Watt for a haul. And they went after me, and then Pittsburgh started out hot, and I looked like an idiot. I forgot Watt has 0 playoff wins. That's incredible. So do you think that they've held on to him too long and they should look to offload him, or would that kill this defensive strategy that Tomlin has?
I don't think that they would do that, just because they still say, we are the Pittsburgh Steelers. And for the owner, Art Rooney, it is important to play defensive football. And TJ is like the ultimate Steeler. And I think that right now he's in the middle of a contract dispute. And we're going to have to see if he reports to mandatory minicamp on Tuesday. That's going to become the next big story in Pittsburgh, is what happens with TJ Watt. And Omar Khan, at least on the record, has said that he wants TJ to finish his career as a Steeler. TJ had said previously he wants to finish as a Steeler, but Omar Khan is a tough negotiator. He really is, and they're not going to just give in to the demands. The other tough thing is the Steelers, one of their biggest rivals, the Cleveland Browns, didn't do them any favors when they just handed Myles Garrett a $40 million a year contract. Right now, TJ's making 28. He's going to get a big pay raise, and it's going to probably be right in that ballpark. So I imagine it's going to come down to guaranteed money. I think they will get it done. My guess, and it's just a guess, is that it's going to get done sometime early in training camp. I think we could be talking about a hold-in situation if they don't get things done. But I still believe that both sides want this to work, and I think that they ultimately will find a middle ground.
All right, Mike, 2 quick ones. Number one, let's just say worst case scenario, this kind of spirals. They're 4-8. Could Mike Tomlin be in jeopardy here? Has he pushed for Rodgers to the point like, hey, man, this is on you if this screws up?
If this were another organization and if this was another head coach, I would say absolutely, because we saw that same thing unfold last year. And it's kind of interesting because the assistant general manager, Omar Khan, his best friend in the business is Joe Douglas, who just lost his job because he believed too much in Aaron Rodgers. And now here the Steelers are basically doing the same thing. But Mike Tomlin has term left on his contract, and he has, when you win a Super Bowl, when you've never had a losing season, that builds up enough equity within the organization that I would frankly be shocked if they were to move on from him after this year. Just because, let's remember how long it took for them to move on from Matt Canada, who had nowhere near the qualifications, because they're just patient. This is the franchise that has had 3 head coaches since 1969. Ooh. I don't think they're going to have a new head coach next year.
And lastly, week 1, Steelers at my Jets. Steelers, I believe, are a 3-point favorite. Rodgers facing his old team. Justin Fields facing his old team. Too early for a prediction there, Mike?
It may be a bit early. I would rather see both offenses in training camp, but it does create a fascinating narrative here, because initially the Steelers' first plan was to go with Justin Fields this year. And because of either they got outbid by the Jets or Justin was soured on the way that his tenure as a starter ended. He was 4-2 when he was benched for Russell Wilson. Whatever the reason, you have to ask Justin Fields why he chose to go elsewhere. He's not a Pittsburgh Steeler right now. And that was, if he had chosen Pittsburgh, we wouldn't be talking right now, because that was their first choice. So really, it's like, the opportunity, you broke up, now you're with a new girl, and you get to show right in front of them, I have a better situation now. So we'll see which one of the 2 quarterbacks is end up talking like that after this game. All
right, Mike DeFabo, The Athletic, covers the Steelers. Hey, man, thanks for checking in on vacation. Enjoy the rest of it. I mean, you're going to get Aaron Rodgers all summer. That's much more fun than vacation. Can't even say it with a straight face.
Yeah, I may need another vacation after next season, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot to talk about and plenty of drama.
You can take one in January.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
January, Steelers aren't going to be in the playoffs. You can take another vacation. Yeah.